So a little bit about the recipe. It is going to use a foil packet method, and it's a very, very easy method for cooking a variety of different things. So not only can you do fish this way, you can do vegetables, you can do chicken. And what the foil packet does is it creates a little pocket, so the liquids that are in there will circulate and help transfer the heat more evenly and keep moisture in, so that whatever we're cooking does not dry out. There's nothing worse than dry fish, unless that's what you intended it to be. The salmon, for those who are doing the fish tonight, should be flaky on the outside, but still relatively moist and delicious. Okay, let's see what time it is. 4:30. Okay, if you are following along with me tonight, let's go over the materials that you will need. And I'm going to switch over to the other camera, so that way you can follow. Okay, give me one moment. Okay, you are probably seeing the side of my head now. This is the handy dandy camera device that allows us to see. So this is my kitchen. So we have the oven, we have the island where we'll be prepping all the different items. All right, and it looked like it timed out. Okay, I'm gonna switch back. All right, so what you will need first is we are using heavy duty aluminum foil, okay, and I've already pre-cut them. So it's about 12 by 14 inches in the dimensions. And what we're going to be doing here in a moment is we're going to be taking our veggies and our salmon, we're going to put them in the middle, and then we're going to sprinkle the garlic and the different sauces on top. We'll wrap it and we'll put it in the oven. Okay. I am doing 3 different versions of this, one being a vegetarian option. So you need to cut out how many pieces of foil you need for your family if you're following along with me. Okay. I'm doing 3, 2 pieces of salmon, and then 1 that will be vegetarian involving a portobello mushroom. Okay, if you are following along with me, you're going to need to set your oven now to bake at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a start. Let's see if that camera is back online again. Nope, it's not wanting to do it. Okay. All right, so I have my oven set for 425. Let me see if I can get this camera to launch once more. There we are. I think. Sorry about that. Now you see me. Okay. So what I have here for the vegetarian option, let's talk about that first. I have a portobello mushroom, okay, that I've already pre-washed. If you're going to do a portobello mushroom, you're going to want to slice it. So let me move this a little bit. I don't know why that's not down the way I want. See if that's better. All right, we will make do. All right, so you're going to want to slice the portobello mushroom into smaller pieces because that portobello mushroom, it is very, very thick, and when you slice it, so I just want to show you all. So I slice it into these little sections. That's going to allow the liquid to absorb into it. Okay, so if I'm going to start off with this, I'm going to put the portobello mushroom slices in the center of the foil, okay? And then I can do asparagus on the sides. So what I'm using right now is I bought asparagus at the store. This is not the common way that you will see, well, yes it is. Now it is. It's a pre-washed asparagus that's already been trimmed. I'm gonna show you what you would do with the bundles that you get in the produce section. I actually prefer those more. It just feels more natural. all of this has been very processed. This was all I could find at HEB the other day. And given, you know, the whole entire COVID situation, supply chains are struggling. So this is already pre-washed, but let's say you have those bundles, you would remove the rubber band, and there's gonna be a very thick woody part at the end. All you do is you just need to pinch, so pull this down, and that woody rough part will pop off. And then you can discard that, and then save this, and then you would wash it. So this has already been pre-washed. I'm gonna put a few spears to the side here for the portobello mushroom. And then for the vegetarian option, I'm going to use some of these sweet onions just to add a little bit more flavor to that. So I'm going to peel off any sections that are that don't look nice, that aren't pretty, and then I'm going to slice off this root part. And you can do this with any vegetable that you like. So I'm just putting them right here on the side. I'm going to trim off some of the edges here so that it will fit in the packet. You could do this with bell pepper. You can do this with summer squash, so zucchini or yellow squash would be fine. Okay. And then what you're going to do for the time being is for the vegetarian option, I'm just setting this aside because we're going to be putting a sauce and the garlic on in a moment. Let's get our salmon, for those of you who are doing salmon, ready. Okay, I'm doing two different types of the salmon. I'm going to start off with the spicy option, and then that's detailed in the recipe. And then I'm going to do the more herby option for those who don't want to go really all out on the spice. Okay, so I have some sockeye salmon right here. And what's nice about Alaskan sockeye salmon is that it's very, very dark in color. It has a lot of those really fatty cold water fish traits to it, which are very healthy for us. This is one of those dishes that helps to reduce inflammation. So that's why it's good. So notice that it's a tiny cut. You can use Atlantic salmon, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It does usually come with a thicker slice. So when we put it into the oven, you may need to run it a little bit longer than what I'm going to do in the demo. Okay, so the cook time for these packets is going to be 9 to 12 minutes. You're probably going to want to be on the 12-minute side versus the 9-minute side if it's one of those thick Atlantic salmon cuts. Okay, so I put this down on the foil. I'm going to have the skin side up to begin with, and then we're going to salt it. So I use my hands. I just reach in, grab some salt. You can use a spoon. For the demo, I'll use a spoon. I'll be civilized. So you want to just sprinkle a little bit of salt, nothing too much. And you want to sprinkle up from up high, and that's going to allow the salt to be evenly dispersed over. So we salt the skin side, and that's to help soften it. And then that salt that's on the bottom is going to disperse out into the liquid and help us in the cooking process. Okay, so you flip it over now with the pink side up, and then you're going to salt it from up high. So that way, evenly salted over the fish. Okay, so after you salt it, you're going to pepper the nice fleshy side from the top. And we're going to do this to the veggies in a moment. If you're doing a vegetarian option, I'll just do that real fast. Those mushrooms sweat a little bit. Okay, next, you're going to take some of the asparagus spears and you're going to place them on the side. So when we do this, you want the fillet to be at an angle. So that way when you wrap it, you have plenty of space. So when I wrap this, it's going to come over. You see that? Okay. So we put some spears right there by it so that those are ready to go. Okay. I'm going to do that with the other salmon real fast, and then we're going to go and progress to the garlic, the butter, or olive oil for those who want to use olive oil. So let me get the other salmon fillet prepped. Right now, if you're following along with me, your oven should be preheating to 425. Okay, so we're going to salt. And you just heard my oven go off. It's at 425 now. Salt and pepper. And then I highly recommend, if you don't have one of these yet, getting a peppercorn grinder. There's nothing better than fresh pepper on your food. And then I'm just going to apply the rest of the asparagus. Okay. So, for those of you who are doing fish, this is what we have. We have two. This one will be the spicy one. This one will be the herb one. And let me get the vegetarian option. Let me move that out of the way. Okay. And then for vegetarians, we have the portobello mushroom. We have asparagus, and I put the sweet onions over here. So we're going to start off with the sauces next. Okay. So sauces. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of vegetable stock. If you're using sriracha, you're using 1 tablespoon of sriracha. You will mix those, and then you will add lemon juice. So let's start off with that lemon juice first. Okay, you will need to, so there's different ways that we can get juice from a lemon. You can use one of these handy juicers, and I've already pre-did some earlier. You can do that, or you can simply just use your hand. So I'm going to show the hand method real fast, so that way you can get an idea if you don't have a juicer. So you slice your lemon in half, and then what you're going to need to do is you're going to hold a bowl, or sorry, put your hand over a bowl, move this out of the way, like so, and then you squeeze the lemon, and then you're going to catch the seeds and let the juice fall from your fingers. Okay, so that is one method. It is a very, very, very age-old method, and it will work, but the problem with it is it's going to take some time. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off with the juicer. We all have used this probably, so it's one of these devices where you just rub the lemon through the elevated portion, and it will take out the juice. It collects the seeds, and then what you get is you get juice at the bottom. So it's a nice tool. So I'm going to juice these real fast, and then we will go to the sauces. So if you we got some more people logging in. Hello to everyone who just logged in. For those of you who just logged in, this is being recorded. And if you missed out the first segment, it will be edited and it will be posted on our website probably by next week. All right, so the amount of juice that you're going to need is going to depend on you and the amount of citrus that you like. I love citrus, so I'm actually going to put more in than what the recipe calls for. And then let's talk about the butter. You probably looked at the recipe and were like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of butter. And that is because the recipe is a keto recipe. So for those of you who don't know ketogenic diets, these are diets that are lower in carbohydrate. And so they usually give you the calories by increasing the amount of protein or fat. In this recipe, I am going to show you a way with the butter. So I'm going to make the original recipe, okay, and that'll be the spicy version. But I'm also going to show you options using olive oil. Olive oil is going to be less in saturated fat, okay? And I find personally that olive oil is a great conduit for flavor. Butter's great too, but in the test runs, we found better results with the olive oil in terms of flavor. But that's just me. I encourage you to try it with butter. see if you want to do it first, and then maybe do another one down the road with olive oil. Okay, so I got my lemons nice and juiced, and what we're going to do is we're going to make the sauces next. Okay, so I have, you can use vegetable broth, vegetable stock, you can use chicken stock, chicken broth. Those are going to be fine. The chicken's going to have a little bit more of the umami flavor, so that savoriness, but vegetable stock is just as good. Okay, so if you were following the instructions, you're going to use 2 tablespoons of this vegetable stock. For this first one that's spicy, I'm going to, because it's only one, I'm only going to use half of it. So if you're following along the instructions and you're going to do all spicy, you're going to do 2 tablespoons. But because I'm doing a demo where you have different options, I'm just doing 1, okay? And you can add more. It's not going to hurt. You just don't want the fish swimming, literally swimming in broth. Done. Okay, so I'm going to do this for making these sauces very quickly. Okay. All right. So stock has been added. Next, we're going to do the lemon. So this is a half tablespoon. In the instructions, it can be any, someone's trying to add. It can be anywhere between 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons. I encourage you to adjust according to how you like citrus. Acid is a great way to transfer flavor. So that is one of the reasons why they use it, but it also will tenderize the fish and the vegetables. So I'm going to put on each of these, to start off with a tablespoon, but you can adjust for your amount. If you want to follow the instructions to the T, you would do, I believe it's 1 1/2 tablespoon of lemon juice. So I'm just going to distribute that evenly. So that's, for me, that's about 2. I don't want any leftovers, so it's up to you. All right, if you are going to do a spicy option, you're going to, so I'm using sriracha. The instructions say that you can use any hot sauce that you really enjoy. I'm going to follow for this one with the butter, the sriracha. And because I'm doing only half the amount, I'm going to use only ½ tablespoon. The instructions for 2 fillets of fish would be 1 whole tablespoon. You want to make sure that you shake your sriracha or your hot sauce well, because if it has vinegars in it, it's going to separate. So you want to shake that a bit before you distribute. Otherwise, you're going to maybe have this like kind of liquidy substance coming out first, and it's just not going to be appetizing. Okay, so you pour that in to your sauce bowl, and then you're going to mix it. Okay. And you want to keep mixing it until it's a nice, delicious mix. I don't know if y'all can see that very well. Okay. Next, for this fillet, we're going to do a little bit more herby. So I'm just going to leave this with the vegetable stock and lemon juice, excuse me. And then for the vegetables, I'm going to do that the same way. I'm just going to do herbs. Okay. So next, garlic. We're going to chop some garlic. I have some that's pre-chopped, and I'm going to go over how to chop that real fast. So let me move the salmon out of the way. Easy way to chop garlic. Okay, so you pull your garlic clove off the garlic bulb, and you can buy these now already chopped. But I find that they have a chemical on them that just doesn't. It's like a preservative, I'm assuming. It just makes things kind of oily and slimy, and it doesn't really affect the flavor. It's just a texture thing for me. See if you can see that. Can y'all see that okay? Do I need to tilt this over a little bit more? Let's tilt it down. All right. So you take your knife, like so, garlic bulb, you place it on the cutting board, blade turned sideways, okay? And then you're going to smash the garlic clove, okay? After you smash it, it breaks the paper up, and then you can easily peel off that paper, and then it leaves just the garlic by itself. Now, yes, it's bruised, but you're going to be chopping that up. And what that smashing does is it unlocks a lot of the oils in the garlic, so that way it disseminates into the food a little bit more easily. And I have mushroom chunks everywhere. Okay, so you want to slice off the little tip right here, the garlic bulb. And then what you want to do is, if it has any green in the middle, a little sprouting, you want to remove that. That can be a little bitter. Next, chopping skills. I wish this was a little bit farther back. See if y'all can see that better. Let's go back. Okay, so how you hold your knife. Okay, you have your index and thumb fingers, right? Go right here. Other hand, 3 fingers go underneath. And the reason why you want to hold it there is that allows you to retain control. If you hold it here, okay, you're going to get a lot of lateral motion, and this one's going to allow you to be more effective. So you take your thumb right there, other 3 fingers come around, and this is going to give you a lot more control. Okay, so we're going to chop the garlic very quickly. And notice that when I smashed it, it unlocks the oil. It makes it look like it's like the garlic is crying. But that's going to unlock more of that garlic flavor that we want into the fish. Okay. So garlic is chopped. And put that in. What you're going to do next is you're going to sprinkle the garlic on to the fish. And I'm going to switch the camera now so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so here we have our fish fillet. Here we have the asparagus. Okay, I'm going to start off with some garlic. And we're going to sprinkle that all over the fish. And then we want to get the garlic, especially on the tips, those little tasty portions of the asparagus. Okay. So once that's done, this is the spicy option. So here I have that sriracha sauce. Now, if you want a little bit of sweetness, you can add a little bit of honey. So I'm just kind of demoing what you can spoon out, but I want to go ahead and use all of that. Okay, before you pour it though, you want to bring the edges of the foil up so it catches any liquid that's going to run off. And then what you're going to do is you're going to drizzle that over the salmon and then over the spears. Okay. And then we're going to come back, we're going to add butter on top of this, and then we'll wrap it. So let's go ahead and do the others before I do the butter. So give me a moment, I'm going to bring the other fillet in front of us. All right, so we have the other fillet. So I'm going to bring these up. Okay. We're going to sprinkle garlic over that one. And then over the spears. And this is the one that I will do olive oil on. And you also want to consider, okay, yes, the recipe did call for a lot of butter. But what's going to happen is a lot of that's going to run off into the cooking liquid. And so once you pull it out, it's not going to be as many calories as we previously thought. Okay, so this is one of the vegetable broth lemon juice. I'm just going to base that over the fish and then over the spears. Okay, and then we're going to go to the next one. Okay, give me a moment. This is going to be the portobello mushroom and the sweet onion and asparagus. Okay, so this is our vegetarian option. So we have the portobello mushrooms, we have the sweet onion. Okay, we're gonna get the garlic all over that portobello mushroom because the mushrooms already have a lot of umami and they have a lot of flavor to begin with. So that is going to be excellent. Okay. Then what we're going to do, pour this on, and then for the last salmon fillets, we're going to do herb de Provence. I have a mix. So herb de Provence has like different Mediterranean herbs all mixed together. You can buy this at H-E-B, Whole Foods. Any major grocery store will have this blend. You can also use different herbs such as dill, you can use thyme, any of them are going to be fine. You can use an Italian mix. They have those at most grocery stores. That'll have like oregano, thyme, and all of those. So this is herb de Provence, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that on. Give me a moment. And be generous. This is going to pull off into the cooking liquid, so you want to definitely be generous. Okay, and then I'm going to do this on the fish that is non-spicy. It is all over the asparagus. Okay, so this is the spicy one, this is the herby one, and then this is our vegetarian one that we're doing with herbs and Provence. Okay. Now we got to add in our fat. Fat is a conduit of flavor. This one we're going to use butter, and we're going to follow the original instructions. This one we're going to use olive oil, and then I'm just going to do olive oil on this one just because from the taste test that we did yesterday, it was really good. Okay. So let's slice up our butter. So I'm going to switch cameras temporarily. Give me a moment. And you see me again. Okay. So for your butter, this can be just unsalted butter, and you don't have to have it at room temperature. It can be right from the fridge. So you're going to cut, for 2 people, it's going to be anywhere between 2 tablespoons to 4 tablespoons in that amount. And remember, some of this is going to be runoff. So it's not going to be entirely, consuming the entire amount of butter. So you want to cut it into small little squares, and that I'll show you in a moment. I'm just going to do that real quickly. Also, what you can do if you are someone who likes ghee, you can use ghee as your butter source. Ghee is a clarified butter, and it's commonly used in South Asian cuisine, and it's delightful. I'm going to switch back to this camera. Okay, so I cut those. I left this out as I was prepping, so it's had time to melt, but you can use directly from the fridge. You can use cold butter and it will be just fine. Okay, so you're going to add the bits of butter onto the fish, and then you definitely want to get onto the really tasty parts of the asparagus spears, and that is going to run off. It's not going to stay on too much, just enough so that it cooks and adds flavor. All right, and then for these, we're going to put them in olive oil. But for this one, we are going to wrap it. So for the wrapping, you're going to bring the sides across, like so, and then wrap. And then you want a big flap that comes over, but you don't want it to be really tight. You want it to have a little bit of space, just enough to keep the moisture in, but enough space on the inside so that the air can circulate. Okay, and I'm going to put that on a baking sheet. Okay, so we can all go in together. Okay, we are going to do the next one. So this is the herby one. Okay, and this one's going to be with olive oil. The type of olive oil that you want to use, definitely there is a relation to the cost that you spend on your olive oil and the quality, but I'm using this one from HEB. It's a extra virgin olive oil organic cold press, and it only costs around $7, so not too bad. Okay, and then you're just going to drizzle a little bit amount onto the fish, and then onto the spears. Okay, and then same thing goes. So you're going to wrap the sides. So you pull that over, just so that the moisture can be held in, but air can still circulate inside the packet. Okay, and this is the portobello mushroom vegetarian option with the sweet onion. Okay, we're going to drizzle that. Olive oil, you could do this with butter as well, and it will be just as good. And once again, you can do this with any veggie that you like. And this is going to keep the moisture in. That mushroom is going to throw off a lot of water. So that's one thing to be aware of when you're wrapping this. So make sure that there's some space for that water to collect. All right, so we have our salmon packs and portobello mushroom packs made. Now it's time to transfer it into the oven. So the oven is already preheated to 425 degrees. And we want it towards the middle. This is one where definitely, and it'll be 9 to 12 minutes. Definitely in the middle because it's going to distribute the heat a little bit more evenly. All right, I'm going to switch back to where you can see me. And while we are waiting, we can chat. All right, so, yes, right at 5. This is going to take a little bit longer than expected, and we will check it out. I have it set to 9 minutes. If you are using the thicker cut salmon fillets, you're going to need to go to 12 minutes and then check it. It should be flaky on the outside, and then it kind of darker in the middle. Okay, it will change color though. It should be pink. For those of you who are having wine, now's the time to do it because it's 5 o'clock. Your work time is over. So, any questions so far about the recipe? Everyone doing okay? All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
I just want to review. What is the amount of broth, lemon juice, and garlic? So I have down that the broth is 1/2 tablespoon or 1 tablespoon. If we're doing you were doing one per fillet. Right.
Okay, so if you're doing like one individual fillet, it's going to be 1 tablespoon of broth.
Okay.
Okay, and then for the lemon juice, you can use anywhere between, I would say, 1 tablespoon all the way up to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now, if you want to do a hot sauce, I would only do 1/2 tablespoon of hot sauce. If you want to go the herb route, you would just use the broth and the lemon juice, and then whatever herbs you're going to be applying onto it.
And how many cloves per fillet?
Yes, so it would be 2 cloves of garlic per fillet.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome. And then, let's see. The other stuff. Herbs. So herb de Provence blend. You can find that at the store. You can use thyme. Thyme can be pretty potent. I would be cautious with the amount. Dill is an excellent one to use with fish. Excellent. You would still salt and pepper it, and then you just add dill the same way that I did with the herb de Provence. Okay. For next week, while we are waiting on the fish, we are doing a sabji, or oftentimes called sabzi. This is a vegetarian dish, and I will go over how to do that. The recipe for that one calls for frozen vegetables, which you are more than welcome to use. I'm going to put in the notes if you're going to use fresh vegetables, which ones to use, and then approximate portions for that. So that way when we do it together, you're able to follow along. And if you bought fresh vegetables, you're good to go. So sabzis are a way to cook a vegetable dish that's nutritious very quickly for your family, and have that in your repertoire. So our recipes going forward, they're going to be more of the healthier choice recipes, but every now and then I will throw in things that help us explore the different flavors that are out there. So that may mean that, like for instance, we do, looks really good. Thanks so much for the demo. Oh yeah, excellent. Yes, using miso as a variant of the fish. Yes, that's an excellent idea. Can everyone see that on the, let me, so this is Anne said, looks really, thanks so much for the demo. I recommend using miso as a variant for fish and mushrooms too. Pairs well with, yes, you're absolutely right. Let's see what else. Anne, do you want to talk a little bit more about that, or are you good?
It was just, I do a lot of cooking at home, so naturally I'm here. And then I saw your pairings of the fish and the vegetables, and you were talking about looking into other flavors and also maybe, doing, since you're going to be buying fish and probably making this more than once, there's variants that you can add to it. And I just thought, oh, miso would be great because it's fermented, it's healthy for you as well. And I'm not sure if HEB, I want to say HEB carries it, but
I think they do. I know Fiesta does. I know they have. I think that's a great suggestion because that miso is going to make that flavor just pop. It's so good, so good. That brings me to like fermented foods. So fermented foods have a really, really awesome way of enhancing flavor. If you're, I know everyone's digestive tracts are different, but if you're like getting kind of bored, let's say, you're the same way that you cook something, maybe add in some type of fermented product like miso, and it really will make things pop. That's why we add pickles to hamburgers. It kind of makes the flavor pop, right? Okay, so we have about 3 more minutes on the timer here. So I'm going to show you where mine's at the 9-minute mark. When I did this previously through the test try, I went towards 12 minutes just because I was like, it doesn't look done yet. So if you're cooking along, you would want to. Yes. Okay, so Rachel asked me, are you posting the ingredients before the demo somewhere? I was wondering how we would know what to prepare. So all the recipes and my notes are posted on so if you go to the live sweat class page, they're going to be posted there at the very bottom. So you'll see like group exercise classes, mind, body, and then you will see the cooking demo at the very bottom, and that's where all the notes and everything are. And if once, like let's say you came to this cooking demo, but you didn't follow along and you want to cook it later, the edited video will be posted there, hopefully. So that way you can go back and follow along on your own if you'd like. So let's see where we're at. We got about 2 more minutes. So I like this one because it's fairly quick. I did a lot of talking. But when you do it on your own, this is probably going to be very, very, very fast to follow along with. So seriously, it's something that probably could be done in 30 minutes or less. So if you're rushed in the future, let's say you get home, you want to have a healthy meal, this was a great quick option to throw together for you and your family. So we're at about 1:12. So I'm really curious to see if you all are trying it out or if you're going to be doing it later. I'm always curious about that. So let's see, we got the Subsea next week. And then also what I will do, let's see, Larry says we eat salmon often. I hate to say, but I do enjoy the farm-raised Atlantic salmon because of the fat content. It's creamy. Very true. Fat is a conduit of flavor. For the next week, so we are doing the Subsea, and that one actually goes by very quickly. Kelly Ward says, my daughter and I cooked along with, oh, excellent. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh. Is it in the oven right now? I'm just curious. Kelly might be multitasking right now. Okay. So next week, we do the Subsea. Oh, is your fish in the oven right now? Okay, so I'm going to show you where we're at on the 9-minute mark. I'm going to switch cameras in a moment just so you can see. Let me pull it out of the oven and then I'll switch cameras. Okay, so switching cameras so you can view. Here we are. Alrighty, so we have, that actually looks pretty good. I'm probably going to put this one in a little bit longer just to be safe. But some of you, that might look perfect for you. Like, look how nice that is. I'm going to put mine in probably for 2 more minutes just because I want to be extra sure. You are more than welcome to leave it at 9. You can go all the way up to 12 minutes. Okay, and I'm going to switch back. So it's 2 more minutes, and then we will check it out. Let's see. Diane. Oh, yes, it's in the oven. Great. And then Evelyn Daly says, I'm going to have, okay. Oh, you're welcome, Evelyn. Bye. So we will check it in 2 minutes and then we will eat. So I know many of you have to head out. So I want to thank you for coming. I really appreciate y'all joining me in cooking this. What I was going to say about the next week. So we make the Subsea. That one goes by really fast. But what I will be posting also is a tutorial on making pizza dough. The pizza dough, I will do a typical pizza dough. And then for those who don't want to do gluten, I will do a gluten-free one. Yeah, Kelly, yep, you read my mind. So I will do both. The pizza doughs are very, very easy, basic bread. So we will go over how to do that. So that way you can have the pizza dough ready. And you can even put it in the fridge, like you can do the night before, so that you don't feel rushed. And then, so that way you have it on the day. This will be week 3 when we do the pizza dish. So 15 more seconds, and we will check out the deliciousness. And if you haven't opened up your bottle of wine, this is the time to do it, because it is time to eat. Okay, give me a moment, then I'll switch cameras so you can see. Okay, switching cameras. Okay, so on this side, for opening it up. And this was the spicy butter salmon fillet. Look how nice that is, and look how tender those look. Okay. In the middle, we have the herb cooked one, and that looks delightful. Okay, and then on this side, we have the veggies. So you have the, oh my gosh, it smells delicious. So portobello mushroom, sweet onion, and the asparagus. So those look good. I'm going to cut into the fish so you can see what I mean. Okay, so here's the fish. Okay, you cut into it. See how nice and flaky that is? So flaky and delicious. All right, switching back cameras. And I'm back. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I look forward to next week. Next week's going to be a vegetarian dish, and we will go over pizza dough crust. Feel free, Kelly, if you have photos of the dish after it's done, feel free to email them my way. And I look forward to seeing everyone next week. Oh, perfect. Great. So I want to thank everyone. We are done. Feel free to jet. Feel free to jet. Have a wonderful evening and take care, everyone. Bye-bye.